Hi, it's Tash. Welcome to Tash's Library. Today's video is my favorite to make, probably sometimes the only one I make, but it is, of course, my TBR game. This one is for July. Now, I didn't actually finish all my books for June, which is probably a good thing, bad thing. It's probably my fault because I did pull out Way of Kings and mine was in 2 bind-ups and I did decide to read both volumes. So yes, I still managed to read 9 very, very hefty books. But what I'm going to do this month is I'm going to add the extra roll because last month I should have. I threw a double and I didn't add the extra roll and that was cheating and I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to make up for it. This could really, really come back to haunt me. Who knows? But yeah, look, I'm glad I didn't add it, to be honest, last month because I wouldn't have got to the book probably, in all likelihood. So there's one whole book I didn't get to read and I really wanted to read it. But anyway, so without further ado, let's go to the game. And here's my TBR board. Once again, I just keep going around in circles, starting here with my cute little Lego Eeyore. And as I land on different spots, I have to pick the corresponding colored cards. Red is it's a vibe. This is for tropes, types, etc., genres. What's in a name or title prompts. From cover to cover are title prompts, all in the making of publication details and authors. And It's So Random requires some sort of pick a wheel or other game that I have to play. If I land on the bookworm spots, I have to play my bookworm game, which has super obscure prompts. I haven't landed on any of those yet with my new board, which is kind of interesting, but who knows, because last month was the first time I landed on any green as well. So maybe this month will be different. I'm going to do 8 rolls. If I throw a double, I have to roll again. So there'll be an extra roll. So hopefully I don't end up with 25 books because that would be impossible. But I like reading, so I'm not going to be upset with getting lots of books. It just means I may not quite get to all of them. So without further ado, let us begin. So I'm going to throw my 2 dice and 3. So I've got 1, 2, 3. That's a cover prompt. I have shuffled these already, so let's see what I get. Cover matches a current outfit. Okay, this could be tricky because my current outfit is this mustardy yellow color. So I'm going to have to find a book that has this color on it. Not the most common color choice for covers. So who knows what I'm going to find. First row was from cover to cover and we got cover matches a current outfit. And I'm wearing this mustardy sort of color. And I'm going to use this opportunity to add my Eldia as well, which is going to be a book recommended by a friend's favorites. And in this case, I'm going to pick A Canticle for Leibowitz by Walter M. Miller. And yes, my friend has really liked this, highly recommended it. And the cover matches my top as close as it can. Maybe not so much in this lighting, but it is actually quite mustardy yellow, so it does. Now, I don't actually know much about Canticle for Leibowitz other than it being some sort of dystopian apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic book. So I'm going to read this on my Kindle and I'm just having a look at the synopsis now. So yes, it's a Hugo Award-winning novel, Off Earth After the Apocalypse. So in the depths of the Utah desert, long after the flame deluge has scoured the earth clean, the rediscoveries of science are secretly nourished by cloistered monks dedicated to the study and preservation of knowledge. And by studying the holy relics of the past, the Order of St. Leibowitz hopes to raise humanity from its fallen state to one of grace. But is such knowledge the key to salvation, or the certain sign that we are doomed to repeat our most grievous mistakes? This sounds really fun. I don't know if fun's the word. It sounds like it could be bleak, but I've also heard I might enjoy it, and I don't like sort of post-apocalyptic books. So we'll see. We'll give this one a go. Roll number 2 is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's green. I like that it's so random. Now, this could end up just giving me zero choice at all, or it could be super fun. Yes, I get emoji. That means I get to use a random emoji generator, and then I have to find a book that has that something related to that emoji on the cover. This is one of my favorites. I'm really glad I pulled this one. And it's so random. And we got emoji, which is super fun because I get to go to an emoji generator and see what I get. And here it is. Alrighty, so I've gone to a random emoji generator and I'm going to see what I get. Gonna be a lock. Interesting. Okay. Let me see if I have any books that have locks on them in some way. So the closest I could get to that particular emoji is The City of Stardust, because it does have a key on it. This is by Georgia Summers, and it's a new release this year that I really want to read. Beautiful cover, absolute lovely cover. And I don't know much about this, but I remember it sounding pretty good. So, curses are made to be broken. For centuries, Everlists have seen their brightest and best disappear, taken as punishment for a crime no one remembers, for a purpose no one understands. Their tormentor is a woman named Penelope, who never ages, never grows sick, and never forgives a debt. 10 years ago, Violet, Everlist's mother, left to break the curse and never returned. Now, Violet must find her mother or she'll be taken in her place. Her hunt leads her into a seductive, magical underworld of power-hungry scholars, fickle gods, and monsters bent on revenge. I quite like the sound of that one. And into the path of Penelope's quiet assistant, Alexander, who she knows cannot be trusted and yet to whom she finds herself undeniably drawn. So, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't lean too much into the romance, because it sounds like it might point to romance, but I don't know, and I'm going to give it a go. Roll number 3 is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a vibe. And a book that features romance. Okay, so that could be a romance, or it could be another book that features romance in some way. Now, I'm not really feeling in the romance mood, but I have a few I could choose. I said in the previous one that I hoped it wouldn't lend itself to romance, and what do we get? It's a vibe and a book that features a romance. So yes, now, interesting. So I had a couple romance books I could have chosen from here, but I actually think I'm going to pick a book that's going to help towards my fantasy bingo board, and that is A Letter to the Luminous Deep, which I believe features romance. So a charming fantasy set in an underwater world with magical academia and a heartwarming pen pal romance, perfect for fans of A Marvelous Light and Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. So this is a reclusive person who lives in her underwater home, and so she begins a correspondence with renowned scholarly Henry Clell. All right, and the letters they share filled with passion, at first for their mutual interests and then inevitably for each other. All right, anyway, so it's got romance, cover's really beautiful, and it will hit the bingo board. So I'm going to go with this one, and we'll see what it's like. I'm trying to get to my 2024 new releases sooner rather than later, because generally what I do is then they just become TBR vets, and I'm trying to avoid that. So that's the one I'm going to pick. Roll number 4 is a 9. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Purple, another cover prompt. I do love cover prompts. Favorite color on the cover. So that's green. That's my favorite color. So, and I've got quite a few green books, I think. It's not the most common, but I definitely know that I have some. So let's go see what I decide on. from cover to cover, and I got favorite color on the cover. And so my favorite color is green. And for this, yes, I know this is like, I don't know what I'm doing to myself, but I have decided that I'm actually going to go for a romance, which I know is ridiculous because I've just said I don't really like romance. The point is, this sounds like a really cool book that people have recommended to me. So I'm going to go with it, and that is Half a Soul. Half a Soul, this is described as, I did like the description here, it's Howl's Moving Castle meets Bridgerton in a sort of cozy Regency fantasy romance. So look, I like Regency stuff, so you know. And here is the synopsis. It's difficult to find a husband in Regency England when you're a young lady with only half a soul. Ever since she was cursed by a fairy, Theodora has had no sense of fear or embarrassment, a condition which makes her prone to accidental scandal. Dora hopes to be a quiet, sensible wallflower during the London season, but when the strange, handsome, and utterly uncouth Lord Saucier discovers her condition, she is instead drawn into dangerous and peculiar fairy affairs. It sounds kind of fun, so I'm hoping I like this. I have heard good things. Roll number 5 is a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's a blue title prompt. What's in a name? And it's no, the, a, an, of, or and in the title. There's heaps of books like that. Easy to find. What's in a name? And this is no, the, a, an, of, and in the title, etc. You know. Anyway, so what I'm going to pick for this one is a shortish book. Once again, another new release that I really want to get to, and this is by Veronica Roth, and it's When Among Crows. I picked this one up kind of on a whim, and it looks really cool. It is really short. So pain is Dimitri's calling. His family is one in a long line of hunters who sacrifice their souls to slay monsters. Now he's tasked with a deadly mission: find the legendary witch Baba Yaga. And to reach her, he must ally the ones he's sworn to kill. That sounds cool. Like, I like anything that has mythology, like Baba Yaga. So I'm hoping this will be quite a fun, short little read. So far, no doubles. Really good. All right, number 6 is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a title prompt. And that is, title refers to books, libraries, or language. This is really fun. So yes, I've got quite a few that would fit this prompt. And then we have what's in a name. Title refers to books, libraries, or language. Now this, I have heaps of books that have books or libraries and things in the title. But I'm going to do something that is really cool, but also a little bit terrifying. And that's because this month I finally read The Way of Kings and absolutely adored it. And therefore I'm dying to get to the second book. So I'm going to pick Words of Radiance, because you got words, which refers to language, by Brandon Sanderson. And yes, I'm looking forward to just continuing with this story. Now, the scary thing is that, of course, it is 2 bind-ups. So that's quite a lot of pages. I think it's about 1,200 pages. I don't know. So it's over 1,000 pages. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to this one. The Way of Kings was just so epic. You follow a few different point of view characters with some epic world building. You've kind of got this world where things don't quite grow like they used to. You have this sort of old magic that people are drawing from. You've also got these incredible storms people have to deal with, and some people can draw from the storms. So yes, and it's so cool. It's just so epic and wonderful. If you haven't read it, and I mean, you probably have read it because I'm probably the last person to read this book. But anyway, this is what I'm going to do to myself. I've got all those romances, so I may as well have a good epic fantasy in there as well. Roll number 7. Right, and it happened. That's okay. I love throwing double sixes. It's my special talent. But anyway, that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a yellow. So that's an all in the making. And an ebook. Super easy. I just go to my Kindle and see what I choose. All in the making. And I got an ebook. For this, I'm going to pick another short book because now I just picked Words of Radiance and it's going to be insane. But more than that, I actually do want to get to this book quite badly because it's the sequel to What Moves the Dead, and so that's What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher. The first book was great. You follow this sort of ex-soldier who visits their friend's house in the countryside because their friend invites them to come help them. And when they get there, things are not as they seem. Things are a little bit spooky, and it's pretty much the, I think it's like a retelling of The House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. And I can't wait for the sequel. I'm really looking forward to seeing what our character gets to next. I believe they go to a different spot this time. But yes, it's a wonderful, wonderful book. And roll number 8 is a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another green. It's so random. Ebook D12 roll. This is fun. So it means that I have to pick 12 possible ebooks that are on my Kindle, and then I throw a D12 to see which one I'm going to be reading. This will be fun. I know it will. I've never done this before. New prompt. Super excited. All right, and here's my D12 roll. I have got all my little pieces of paper that represent different Kindle books, and I have picked 12 that I sort of want to read for different reasons. So I've got A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. The reason that's there is because it is to fulfill one of the prompts on the bingo, on the fantasy bingo. So that could be one of them. Hammered, part of the Iron Druid series. I really want to continue this. Really fun read. So quite keen to read that. Ruthless Vows, also by Rebecca Ross. I'm not so keen on this at the moment, but it would finish up the duology, so there'd be a good reason to do so. Dresden Files, next one is Changes, and I'd be super keen to continue this series. It's one of my goals for 2024. I've got The Palace Job by Patrick Weeks, and this is also to fulfill an R fantasy bingo slot. I've got Ninth House, which I've been wanting to read for ages. Once again, fits a bingo slot. I've got Dissolution, which is part of the kind of Drist underworld. I've heard this is really cool. It's the Dark Elves, and it's underground too, so it could fit a bingo slot, but also super keen to read this one. Small Miracles, which would be my romantasy slot, my bingo. I don't love romantasy, so I kind of want to pull this to fulfill the slot, but I also don't. Then I've thrown in a mystery. So In the Market for Murder is the second in the Lady Hardcastle series, and super, super fun. Cannot wait to continue this one. Then I have What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher. This is the novella sequel to What Moves the Dead. Really looking forward to continuing that one. Then I got a memory called Empire by Katie Martine, which I have wanted to read for quite some time. Also fulfills the space opera slot on the bingo board. And then I've got a complete wild card here, Semiosis by Sue Burke. I'm just super intrigued by this one. I don't think it fulfills any of the bingo slots or any of my other plans for 2024, but I would like to read it. So I've basically got books that some I want to read more than others, but they all fulfill some kind of purpose. So what I'm going to do is shuffle them up somehow. I mean, it won't matter anyway, because I'll just allocate them So then I've got, let's see how this is all going to fit in. So if I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so they're all laid out. Next thing, I need to throw my D12, which has cool little dinosaurs in it. I don't know if you can see, but it does have a cute dinosaur in that. All right, so I'm really hoping for a really good one. One that fulfills some of my reading plans for the year. And I got number 10. So that's that one. Okay, are we ready? Ooh, I'm a bit nervous. It's the palace job. Okay, that seems kind of cool. Well, it's going to be the criminal slot on my bingo board. I don't know much about this, but it sounds like a fun read. So I'm quite happy with this selection. And then we had It's So Random and an ebook D12 roll. And yes, so I picked my 12 books and I ended up with the palace job, which you can't really see very well there. But anyway, so this is by Patrick Weeks. And all I know about this one so far is it does involve a heist. So I'm going to be using it for the criminal spot on my R Fantasy bingo board. But having a look at the synopsis on my Kindle, Locke is seeking revenge. It would help if she wasn't in jail. The plan to steal a priceless elven manuscript that once belonged to her family, but now is in the hands of the most powerful man in the Republic. To do so, Locke, former soldier, former prisoner, current fugitive, must assemble a crack team of magical misfits that includes a cynical illusionist, a shape-shifting unicorn, a repentant deaf priestess, a talking magical warhammer, and a lad with seemingly no skills to help her break into the floating fortress of Heaven's Spire. That sounds really fun, so I'm looking forward to this one. Roll number 9 is an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A blue. Title prompt. A possessive word in the title. So that's going to be like my, or our, his, hers, theirs. That could be tricky, but we'll see. I'm sure there's something I could choose. And what's in a name? A possessive word in the title. And for this one, I'm going to go very possessive. I could have actually gone with like an apostrophe technically, but I've decided to go with Our Lady of the Artilects by Andrew Gilsmith. This is a sci-fi book. I don't think I've picked any sci-fi yet, so that's a little bit scary because I do like my sci-fi, which is really funny because I never used to read sci-fi and then I thought I'd give it a go and now I kind of miss it when I don't. But anyway, this is supposedly for fans of Dan Simmons, who I like, Gene Wolfe, who I haven't read, Neil Stephenson, who I love, and A Canticle for Leibowitz, another classic metaphysical sci-fi. So we'll see. So it's a near-future techno thriller diving deep into the questions of consciousness, faith, and artificial intelligence. Synopsis reads, world leaders are already on edge as Artilects, the next generation androids, begin reporting a strange apocalyptic vision that only they can see. But when an Artilect belonging to the wealthiest man in Africa shows up at the Basilica of Our Lady of Nigeria, claiming to be possessed, the stakes are raised, and the Vatican sends Father Gabriel Seraphian, an exorcist and former neuroscientist, to investigate. And Seraphian quickly finds himself swept up into a conspiracy of global and possibly supernatural dimensions. That sounds really intriguing. I can't believe I've put this one off for that long. I keep it in mind. I'm like, oh, this sounds like such a good book. And then whenever I read the synopsis, I'm like, I need to read this next. And I'm finally reading it, so I'm going to read it. And that's pretty much it. They are my roles. Now, just to be mean to myself, because in June, I had actually thrown a double and didn't add the extra roll. I've decided to add it now. And I know that's ridiculous because I've already got 9 books. I could end up with who knows how many at this point, but I'm going to do it. And maybe a short little book. 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all in the making. And it's a book with first person perspective. Okay, let's see what I can find for that one. And my extra role, all in the making, and a book with first person perspective. Because I have quite a lot of books and one very, very, very chunky book, I've decided to go with Becky Chambers. So I'm going to go with To Be Taught If Fortunate, which is one of the few books I haven't read by her at this stage. And it is a science fiction book, very, very short. And in the future, instead of terraforming planets to sustain human life, explorers of the galaxy transform themselves. So at the turn of the 22nd century, scientists make a breakthrough in human spaceflight. Through a revolutionary method known as somaforming, astronauts can survive in hostile environments off Earth using synthetic biological supplementations. With the fragile body no longer a limiting factor, human beings are at last able to explore exoplanets long suspected to harbor life. And Ariadne is one such explorer on a mission to ecologically survey for her habitable worlds 15 light years from Earth. She and her fellow crewmates sleep whilst in transit and wake each time with different features. So it could be good. Look, I love Becky Chambers. I have given every book I've read so far by Becky a 5 out of 5. So I'm super keen to get on with this one. And that is that. It's not too bad. It's actually not too bad. I mean, I do have 5 books on Kindle, so that is substantial. But if I look at just the books that I have picked, if I ignore the fact that I've got the biggest chunk ever, quite a few good ones here. And I guess I have to throw my Kindle on here. So I do have the 5 Kindle books. So that's quite a lot of books. But anyway, I'm happy with that. Looks like a good reading month. Really nice mix of books. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and until I see you next time, take care.